If you're planning to take a cruise and you own a mobile phone or a cell phone, then listen up. Before I took my first cruise, I had no idea about some of the things that you should really be doing with your mobile phone in order to help you to enjoy your cruise and also to avoid falling foul to, in some cases, some pretty significant costs. In this video today, I'm going to share with you 10 things that you should be doing with your phone when you cruise. And I can almost guarantee you that a couple of these might surprise you. If you've just found my channel today, then I'm Fraser. Welcome. I use my YouTube channel to share my cruise experiences with you, and I use it also to share my tips and my advice to hopefully help you to have the best cruise yet. Anyway, let's get started with the first thing that you need to make sure you're doing with your phone when you take a cruise. Up first, we're talking mobile apps. When you take a cruise, if your cruise line has a mobile app, you absolutely must make sure that you download that before you leave home and before you head to the port. I meet so many people on cruise ships who make the decision to wait and take care of everything with their phone once they get safely on board the ship. That then means that doing things like downloading the app from the App Store would be done on the top deck of the ship once they're on. That, in principle, on paper sounds great, but in reality, it's really not ideal. If you've ever taken a cruise, you'll know that phone signal can be very difficult on board, particularly on the massive mega ships when you've got 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 other passengers all fighting to get good connectivity. That can then mean that what would normally take about 30 seconds of downloading the app at home can then take multiple minutes, if not longer, to do while on the ship. So it'll save you so much time, it'll save you so much stress if you just download the app and get yourself logged in well in advance of you leaving home to head to the ship. Number 2, and this may be one that you potentially haven't thought about, and that is that when cruising, you need to make sure that your phone has got enough memory or storage capacity for your photographs and for your videos. I've met so many people on ships over the years who are despairing because their phone has come up with a message that says memory full. That therefore means that they're unable to take more photos, they're unable to take more videos, and they find themselves in a really difficult situation where they're now trying to delete things from their phone during the cruise. It must be an absolute nightmare. Now, it's super easy to check if your phone has got enough memory. It's usually somewhere in the settings section, and all you have to do is work out, well, how much storage does the average photo or the average video take? Therefore, I do or I don't have enough memory. One thing that you really have to remember if you are planning to take a Wi-Fi package for the purpose of uploading stuff from your, for example, iPhone to the likes of the digital iCloud, is that the Wi-Fi connection on cruise ships is typically much, much slower than on land. So at home, that's fine, you can plug your phone in overnight and typically everything will upload and it will free up space on your device. However, on a cruise ship, you really have to assume that the Wi-Fi isn't going to be fast enough to do that. That has caught me out on a number of ships. So now, if I have a day when I take lots of photos, I make sure that I send them digitally over to my laptop before having to potentially delete them off my phone to clear up the memory space. So yes, number 2, think about memory and storage to make sure that you don't have to delete anything else off your phone while you're at sea. Number 3, it's embarkation day. That ship is heading out to sea. The third thing that you should be doing with your phone is turning on airplane mode. If you've never taken a cruise before, you might be sitting thinking, why would I put airplane mode on if I'm taking a cruise? We're on, we're on the ground, we're not going up. Now, when the ship leaves port, you will probably be connected to a local carrier. So if you're cruising from the US, that may be the likes of AT&T, or if you're cruising from the UK, it might be the likes of O2 or EE, so on and so forth. When the ship leaves the land and it gets out to sea, those providers will drop and your phone will likely pick up a maritime network. Now, those networks run on satellite and they're designed more for emergency correspondence rather than everybody on a cruise ship checking Facebook or checking Instagram or messaging people back home. They're absolutely not designed for that. As a result, the roaming fees are astronomical on these networks, and if you even want to send one text message, well, you can expect to be billed multiple dollars or multiple pounds to even just send a short message. If your phone is set up to automatically fetch for emails and fetch for updates, then you could find that by the time that ship reaches the next port the following morning, you could have racked up hundreds and hundreds of dollars or pounds of roaming charges. If you put your phone onto airplane mode and you activate that mode before the ship leaves port, then that's just simply not going to happen because your phone will not connect to a maritime network, and that's definitely the best outcome. Number 4, if you're planning to apply a Wi-Fi package onto your phone or onto your device for the duration of your cruise, you really should be looking to activate that package before the ship leaves port. There are a number of reasons for this, but personally, I find that if you wait until after the ship leaves, you've then got a situation where the ship's coming to life, there's loads of activities and loads of events happening because it's the first evening, and you find yourself standing in a huge line trying to figure out how on earth to activate the Wi-Fi package. As soon as you get on board, go check out your cabin or stateroom and then find out how to get yourself connected before you even head out and get lunch. If you do admin and basic tasks like that at that stage, I can almost guarantee you it's going to save you so much time going forward. So yes, if you are planning to activate a Wi-Fi package for the duration of your cruise, activate it as soon as you get on board and before that ship sails out of port. Number 5, if you're planning to go abroad on your cruise, which the majority of cruisers will be, then you need to understand what the prices are like for international roaming. In other words, if you use your mobile phone abroad or in another country, how much more is that going to cost you versus using it at home? Now, I found that generally speaking, it's much cheaper for me to, rather than using local networks internationally, it's much, much better for me to buy what's called a travel eSIM that I can then install on my phone, and that gives me unlimited data for a certain period of time. Now, I would much rather do that rather than pick up all these different phone networks because some of them can be really, really expensive. I've found that some of the most expensive networks can be down in the Caribbean or even in the Middle East. It's very, very pricey. Now, if you're interested in taking a travel eSIM or exploring them further, I've left a link in the description of this video to show you the supplier that I usually use, and all you have to do is buy your eSIM and then you install it straight on your phone. So there's no physical product and it's super easy to do for your cruise. Now, on that note, there are some countries and some places that you can go where actually roaming doesn't cost anything extra. I have quite a lot of American friends who, when they cruise to the Caribbean, their cell provider and their network actually include roaming, so they can use their phones in the Caribbean without additional charges. I, coming from the UK, have got the benefit that if I cruise to another country within the European Union, I can then use my mobile phone for a certain amount of data free of charge or included in my monthly package. So always make sure that if you are going abroad and you are cruising internationally, understand what you can do for free or included in your tariff. Next up, let's talk about insurance. If you're planning to take a cruise, you really should be thinking about insuring your devices, including your mobile phone. I can think of nothing worse than going ashore one day and accidentally dropping my phone in the ocean, for example, or even worse, somebody stealing my phone as I'm trying to take a picture. I'm seeing more on the news over the last couple of months from cities all around Europe, cities in the US, even Caribbean beach resorts where mobile phones are going missing and people never see them again. If you've got your device fully insured, then generally speaking, your insurer will replace that device for you. Yes, it probably means that you're not going to get a replacement while you're on the cruise, but it does mean that you can enjoy the rest of your trip knowing that you've got a fresh new phone waiting for you when you arrive back home. There are so many different insurance providers that you can look at. All you have to do is jump onto a comparison website and you'll be able to get loads and loads of quotes for health insurance or various types of insurance. But I always recommend make sure that your phone and any other tech you're traveling with, in my case, my laptop, my microphones, just get it all insured because you're always better safe than sorry. Number 7, you should always download your travel documents onto your phone rather than relying on network connectivity to allow you to access them live. Now you might think, oh that's okay, I've got my mobile phone, therefore I'll be really tech savvy and I'll just log onto my emails and I'll get my boarding pass right there. However, what do you do in a scenario where the terminal building has no signal? There's also no Wi-Fi, so you're not able to connect. What are you going to do? I've found it in the past where I've been travelling to countries where I don't get data included, for example, the US, and the terminal building didn't have any Wi-Fi. That meant that I was then in a scenario where they asked me for a document that I just didn't have readily available, and I just couldn't access it. It was a nightmare. I ended up in a situation where the police were involved, the check-in staff were involved, the managers from the cruise ship were involved, and it got really, really messy really quickly. That was on a Margaritaville at Sea cruise. If you'd like to understand more about that situation, just head over to my channel and look for my Margaritaville at Sea review. It was chaotic. Anyway, had I downloaded my documents rather than just having them available in my emails, that whole situation could have been avoided. So yes, great, let's use documents electronically on our phones, but let's also download them so that we don't have to be connected to show them. Number 8, after you get on the ship, grab your phone, take a quick photograph of your passport on the photo ID page and also your cruise card. Now, you don't need to do this, but it will make life a lot easier if anything goes wrong at any point during the cruise. If you think about really simple examples where, for example, you go ashore and you forget to take your passport, you only take your cruise card, because some ports of call, they don't need you to take your passport ashore, but they do like it when you're coming back through the terminal to board the ship. Don't worry, it'll be made very clear in your paper daily schedule or via announcements on board the ship what you have to do. But if you go ashore and you don't have your passport, but you've got your cruise card and no other ID, it can often be a bit of a lifesaver to have a photo of your passport to help you to get back through. Now, you will find that some places will accept a photo, but other places will say, okay, at least you have a photo for now, but let's contact the ship and we'll get the actual document brought out. Generally speaking, it just makes life a lot easier if something goes wrong. If you look at the other example of dropping your cruise card ashore somewhere, if you arrive with a photo of that cruise card, at least the security agent has got something that they can work with to contact the ship in order to get you back on board as quickly and as easily as they possibly can. So this one isn't one that you have to do, but I found in my experience from speaking to people who have, for example, forgotten a passport or dropped a cruise card, it's helped them massively to have a picture readily available on their phone. Number 9, have you ever heard of the medical ID feature on your iPhone? If you've not, then you really have to listen to this. I'm using an iPhone as an example because that's the type of phone that I travel with, and it's the type of device that I've had for years. So I now feel as though I know the Apple iPhone product inside out. Now, Apple have a function on the iPhone called Medical ID. And what that allows you to do is it allows you to view basic medical records from someone's phone without unlocking it. Now, I very often will cruise as a solo traveller, so it's mega important for me to activate this feature because if something were to ever happen to me, which hopefully it won't, but if something were to ever happen to me and someone needed to find out my information, then all they would have to do is swipe on my phone and press to activate the medical ID feature. Now, within there, they'll then find out if I've got any allergies, they'll find out my blood type, they'll find out any other key facts about my medical setup that would then mean that if a paramedic or someone was to come to treat me for anything at all, then it should hopefully be a lot simpler. If you're not sure if your type of phone has this feature, all you have to do is jump on Google, search for the name of your phone and the words medical ID, and it probably will come up. You can also find loads of information on the iPhone functionality on Google as well, but I would massively recommend, if you are travelling, whether you're solo or whether you're not, activate the medical ID feature on your phone, key in your basic information. Hopefully, you'll never need it, but if you do, it should make life a lot easier for anybody involved. Finally, number 10, and this one might surprise you that it's made the list, but a really important thing that you need to remember to do with your phone if you're planning to take a cruise is put it down. I see so many people out there on ships who seem to live life through their phone, whether that be taking in the view of the port or enjoying dinner. Everyone nowadays seems to have a very hungry phone that's always really keen to enjoy the action before they do themselves. If you love taking pictures of food, or if you love videoing the whatever is going on around the ship, just take time and make sure you have time built in to just put your phone down and live in the moment and enjoy it. When you're on these cruise ships, you are on some of the most amazing vessels out there, and it seems a shame to not really get to experience it to the full because you're focusing on this little tiny phone screen. So yes, number 10, arguably the most important one, make sure you make time to put your phone down and enjoy the experience. And that's it. That's the 10 things that I really think you need to be doing with your phone if you're planning to take a cruise at any point in the future. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, it would be amazing if you would support my channel by clicking the thumbs up and also the subscribe buttons. Both of them massively help me to reach more people, so thank you for that. If you have enjoyed this video today, then why not join me in another one? Over on this video, I walk you through 15 things that I do every single time I arrive in a cruise ship cabin for the first time. Hopefully, I'll be able to show you something new. I'll see you over there.